Now, do you know what is the age for obtaining a license for transport vehicle? Not every driving license you are entitled to get at the age of 18. For transport vehicle, the age is 20 years. What is the duration of a license? Once you obtain a final permanent license, not a learning license, learning license age is 1 year. But the permanent license, 20 years. Up to the age of 50. 20 years duration up to the age of 50. If you go for a renewal of a license after 50 years, if you are below 50 years age, you go for renewal, it will be extended for further 20 years. But the moment your age is 50 years or more, your renewal after the test shall be for only 5 years. हर 5 साल बाद आपको बुलाकर जांच किया जाएगा कि आप सब ठीक ठाक है भाई. हाँ, 50 साल के बाद आपकी कोई गारंटी नहीं है. तो 5 साल का एक्सटेंशन आपको मिलता है. बट ट्रांसपोर्ट व्हीकल के लाइसेंस में initial duration of the license is how much? 3 years. After 3 years, you have to go for renewal. And if you, among those transport vehicle, if you are getting a license for transporting hazardous material, which is a specialized area, you must have seen trailers on the highway. That hazardous vehicle license is only for 1 year. Each year you have to do a refresher course. Multi-axle vehicle, you have to do a refresher course, 1 year. So law has taken care of all these aspects, the duration, the age, and in case if you are found guilty or if you are convicted for some offense of motor vehicles, initially your driving license will be suspended, and if you are convicted, your driving license can be cancelled also. Right? Similarly, the driving license of a stage carrier is different and same rules apply, but with the transport vehicle. And chapter 4 deals with the registration of vehicle. So 2 and 3 is the registration of the driver, the license to be given to the person who's going to drive the vehicle. But chapter 4 deals with the registration of the vehicle. No vehicle can be plied on the road unless it has been approved by the law. And that approval to ply on road is called registration of the vehicle. So the area to understand is chapter 2 and 3 is the competence of the person who's to operate that machine, and chapter 4 deals with the machine, whether the machine is competent to be put on the road. And that process is called registration of the vehicle. Now registration is also like learner's license. Registration also has a temporary registration and a permanent registration. So you can get a vehicle to operate on road. The moment you apply for registration, you are given a temporary registration, which is like provisional certificate till you get the final certificate after the vehicle being examined by the RTO. Permanent registration is granted. And in case if there is alteration into the vehicle after being registered, the registration can be cancelled also. The alteration of vehicle deals with section 52 of the Motor Vehicles Act, and you must have heard about this case which I personally handled in the Bombay High Court, when these taxi operators whose vehicle's age was determined to be 15 years only, that if it is older than 15 years and polluting vehicle, they have to discontinue it. So the vehicles were altered by putting CNG cylinders. So the whole fuel system was changed from petrol or diesel to CNG. So RTO considered it an alteration under section 52 of the Motor Vehicles Act and started cancelling the permits of those taxis. Now, I've been engaged by these Taxi Drivers Association, which we challenged before the High Court, that alteration per se should not be the ground for cancellation, but if it is for the betterment of the vehicle and to be more conducive to the environment, if we are improving our fuel, which is pro-environment, then that should not be the ground for cancellation. So finally, the CNG taxis are now plying on the roads of Mumbai. But initially they were put to test whether they can switch to this new fuel without the engine being altered, because the engine is made to run on oil-based fuel like petrol or diesel. Here suddenly from oil-based, liquid-based fuel to gas. So can the engine is made to run from liquid to air? That modification was tested. Finally, when it was found compliant, it was allowed. And therefore, now CNG fitted engines have started coming with the evolution. As I said, that everything is evolving. So that is how the chapter 4 deals with the registration of vehicle. Now, before I end, let's get back to chapter 10, which talks about death and permanent disablement. Permanent disablement is also defined under section 142, which says what is permanent disablement, which entitles instant relief under section 140 of rupees 25,000. Permanent disablement is of three types. First, when there is privation of eye, ear, and the members of joints of body. In case of an accident which results in privation of eyesight, hearing, and joints of the body, that is one. Number two, if it results in impairing the joints of the body. Number three, if there is disfigurement of face or head. These are the only three criterias. If there is a result of an accident into these three categories, then it will be called permanent disablement. Right? And as you know that in case of a death or permanent disablement, the amounts specified is 50,000 and 25, which again in my humble opinion needs to be reviewed, because this amount was fixed in 1994. Since then, price index had gone far ahead. Today, if there is a death, you actually have to have a little more amount than 50,000. Though 163A, that read with Schedule 2, Schedule 2 also considers funeral expenses, In the case of permanent disablement, the medical expenses, they have fixed prices put, but they are also, according to me, quite outdated, like 2,500 for funeral expenses, 15,000 for medical care. Now these are quite outdated amounts, so they need to be reviewed, they must be increased. So all this, I expect that you develop that critical eye, you start writing articles on these things, start writing to PMO, because you all are at least more equipped with the current technological advancement. When we were students, we used to write on paper, send through postcards or inland letters to the PMO. You can write emails, you can Twitter, you can do what more, because half of the technological advancement I'm lagging behind. I don't know much, so I still send it through paper in an envelope. But you're a little more advanced, so you can do that. Keep making your suggestions, keep writing critical analysis of each section, and my hope is that more than the reproduction of the statutes, cultivate thinking, because thinking will make you a distinguished and extraordinary lawyer, and then tomorrow you will be an asset to the bar. Independence movement was led by lawyers, and with the after independence, the faculty of law, lawyers had decayed so badly that I was fortunate to belong to a decent family, so I could get married. Today, no father gives his daughter to simply a lawyer. Qualification क्या है लड़के की? ने कहा lawyer है. अरे छोड़ो यार, दूसरा कोई देखो. Lawyer को कोई अपनी बेटी देता नहीं. अगर आपके पास लॉयर के अलावा कुछ फैमिली बैकग्राउंड वगैरह है तो चांस है, सिर्फ लॉयर से कोई चांस नहीं है, बिकॉज नो फादर ट्रस्ट्स that a lawyer can sustain a good life or provide a good life to his daughter, unless the daughter herself is a good lawyer. And today I'm finding in courts that female lawyers are doing wonders. They are much, much better lawyers than male lawyers. Though I can't say the same thing about all of the faculties, but law, at least I'm proud that they're doing wonderful. Only one thing which I regret, that they must come in uniform, because in Bombay at least I've seen that the female lawyers take a lot of liberty as far as the uniform dressing is concerned. Maybe due to logistical problems of Bombay, that they have to travel by train and all that, so they don't carry their uniform to the hilt. But I've found that they take a lot of liberty. But as far as competence is concerned, they are very good, and I'm proud. So I request you all one round of applause to female lawyers. And I expect the boys to catch up fast. Freedom fighters, lawyers were great. Now let's do that, and thank you very much for today's session. I'm so thankful to your professor, Dr. Aarti, to have invited me to this session. Thank you so much.
I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Mr. Puneet Chaturvedi. Thank you, sir, for your knowledge and experiences that you've shared with all of us. I'm sure it will help all our budding lawyers. I also express immense gratitude towards Dr. Rishikesh Dave, our Dean, and Dr. Aarti, our professor, who helped us arrange this session. It was a pleasure to have you here, sir. Thank you.
Now I would request Aarti ma'am to present a memento to Mr. Chaturvedi.
By the way, I just want to announce I love your mementos. These gifts are very good. And incidentally, this tie is also being gifted by your institution. Thank you so much.